Lying in the safe is a single remnant of the Silkair crash. And not just any remnant.
It was the actual servo valve that's been the focus of our attention.
Finding the power control unit is a remarkable breakthrough. The one piece from all the many thousands that the investigators needed. A unit the size of a soft drink can. The only part still in existence from the Silkair 737.
This is a dual concentric servo valve as manufactured by Parker Hannifin. And inside the valve are two servo slides. The interior slide is known as the primary slide. And that primary slide has tiny little lands on it. And in those lands, hydraulic fluid is ported. The secondary slide, which rests inside the housing, also has lands on it.
This valve is part of the 737's hydraulic system. When a pilot steps on a pedal, a hydraulic impulse passes down the length of the plane to the valve, which activates the rudder mechanism, turning it to one side or the other.
The movement of each of these slides in either direction is only about the thickness of a small coin. So in order to move the entire rudder surface of a Boeing 737, this little valve only moves 45 thousandths of an inch in either direction.
This precision device has built-in redundancy. Each slide is supposed to take over if the other should fail.
The problem that was discovered is that if the secondary slide becomes jammed, the rudder will go to a hard over position and the pilots cannot return it to neutral.
Lack's prosecution makes the case that the valve on the Silkair 737 has a history. They find paperwork showing the valve failed a test after it was manufactured. Parker contends that the test in question would not affect the function of the servo valve, and that after further inspection, it was passed and installed in the Silkair 737.
Considering the history and how many crashes there have been, I would have thought that people would have been much more interested in the dual concentric servo valve and the signatures left inside it than they were.
Now that the PCU has been retrieved, it's sent to a specialist lab in Florida for more testing. The unit is examined using a scanning electron microscope, a device that enables higher magnification, larger depth of focus, and greater resolution than a conventional light microscope.
We spare no expense and we spare no time to absolutely prove a point is either true or not true. Many times we wind up in the court system, and when you're in the court system, you better have your ducks in a row because there's going to be some people asking you some pretty hard questions.
This component is virtually hand-finished in order to make it as smooth as possible when the part was shipped to Boeing. But the prosecution claims these metal burrs or shavings were left over from the manufacturing process. These microscopic flecks seem insignificant. But according to Walter Lack's expert Colin Summer, the fate of an entire 56-ton aircraft may depend on these tiny shavings of metal.
The problem that you run into when you deal with such tight tolerances and such a snug fit between all these components is that they are very, very intolerant of any kind of impurity that is running through the system. Any kind of a metal chip, any kind of a burr, any kind of an imperfection during manufacture causes a huge effect on tolerances of these sizes.
Walter Lack's team are convinced that they now have the forensic chain of evidence proving the valve brought the plane down. But still, there is evidence for suicide that Lack hopes to refute.
If he was going to commit suicide, why didn't he do it on his way down? Why did he wait till the way back?